Taylor Swift is the most successful singer of the past decade, and her numbers and records confirm it. What started as a country singer-songwriter performing in small venues has grown into a global phenomenon and business empire. Through her talent, hard work, and savvy business decisions, Swift has achieved the elite status of being a self-made billionaire at just 34 years old. Welcome back to Corporate Catalysts, where we take a close look at the world's most recognizable businesses, brands, and icons. Let's take a look at Swift's incredible journey from her humble beginnings to becoming one of the wealthiest and most successful singers, producers, and songwriters in history. This is the story of Taylor Swift's path to billionaire status. Swift was born in 1989 in Reading, Pennsylvania, and showed an early interest in music. At age 11, she began performing at local festivals and events. Her big break came in 2003, when she traveled to Nashville to pitch her songs to publishers. After Scott Borchetta discovered Swift, she signed her first record deal with Big Machine Records at the age of 14. Swift released her self-titled debut album in 2006 at just 16 years old. The album was a commercial success, debuting at number 19 on the Billboard 200 chart and selling over 4 million copies worldwide. Her singles, Tim McGraw and Teardrops on My Guitar, helped establish her as a rising new artist in the country genre. Swift quickly gained attention for her talents as a singer and gifted songwriter who told emotionally resonant stories through her lyrics. Swift's second album, Fearless, took her stardom to new heights. Released in 2008, it debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and went on to sell over 7 million copies in the United States alone, making it one of the best-selling albums of all time in the country. The singles Love Story and You Belong With Me became massive international hits, and the album's hit-packed track list made it critically acclaimed. Fearless brought Swift widespread recognition and made her the youngest artist in history to win Album of the Year, which she won at the 2009 Grammys. Swift, now a global pop culture force, embarked on the massively successful Fearless Tour from 2009 to 2010. With over 100 dates across 3 continents, grossed $63 million, a huge sum for a relatively new artist and a sign of Taylor's immense potential to sell tickets. But right after getting home and taking a break, she faced one of the early bitter moments of her fame. While delivering her acceptance speech for a 2009 MTV award, singer Kanye West interrupted her, saying that Beyoncé should have won. It really hurt her, and she took a break from the spotlight for a few months. In the meantime, she also expanded into other ventures like acting, appearing in the romantic comedy Valentine's Day. However, music remained her primary focus and passion. In 2010, Swift released her third studio album, Speak Now, which she wrote entirely alone without any co-writers as a reaction to her critics' doubts about her songwriting ability. It debuted at number 1 and became her second consecutive work to sell over 1 million digital copies in a single week. To support this album, Taylor embarked on another massive stadium tour, this time bringing in over $120 million and solidifying her as one of the top touring acts in the world. She was now headlining some of the biggest venues for artists far more established than her. This rapid rise at such a young age showed Taylor's knack for honing her craft and work ethic and cemented Swift's status as the biggest pop culture figure of the moment. 2 years later, in 2012, she released Red, and like its predecessors, it was a massive success. The album sold approximately 5.2 million copies worldwide in 2012, according to the IFPI's sales report. The Red Tour featured 85 performances on 4 different continents, with British singer Ed Sheeran as a special guest. It became the highest-grossing tour in North America for 2013 and the 8th worldwide, raking in over $112 million. This also made it the highest-grossing country artist tour in history. However, her 5th album would steer away from the country style. In January 2014, Swift began searching for apartments in Manhattan, New York, and eventually moved from Nashville in March to a residence in the Tribeca neighborhood. As she gained more creative control, Swift began accumulating wealth and assets instead of relying solely on her record label. So she purchased 2 luxury penthouses in Manhattan's Tribeca neighborhood for a total of $20 million in 2014. This, let's say, marked the beginning of her real estate investments because, as of this video, Swift owns real estate all over the globe valued at over $110 million. A source later told Hollywood Life that she moved to New York City to find inspiration and finish her album. According to the source, she feels very creative when she's in New York. This shift from Nashville to the Big Apple was reflected in her music. Released later that year, her 1989 album marked Swift's biggest deviation from country into slick synth pop. It became her best-selling album yet, moving over 1.2 million units in its first week in the US. The album's fusion of catchy hooks and themes of young love, resonated massively with listeners. Singles like Shake It Off, Blank Space, and Bad Blood topped charts worldwide, and the album has sold over 10 million copies globally. 1989 was praised as Taylor's most solid and ambitious artistic work. The main song, Shake It Off, became one of the best-selling digital singles ever. To promote 1989, Taylor went on her biggest tour yet, the 1989 World Tour. It made a whopping $250 million, becoming the top-grossing tour globally that year. This definitively proved that Taylor not only made hits that her Swifties fans bought as soon as they were out, but she also had the ability to sell out concerts within minutes. In an effort to maximize the promotion of her new album, 1989, and furthermore, impart lessons on successful marketing, Taylor Swift sought to forge creative partnerships with major brands that would allow her to connect with fans on a global scale. One of the initial alliances she secured was with the Subway restaurant chain. They launched a contest promoted through limited edition Diet Coke cups featuring a unique code. By entering this code on Subway's website or app, fans could enter for the chance to attend a private Taylor Swift concert and meet her in person. This promotion effectively leveraged Taylor's significant influence on social media to attract Subway diners. Another pivotal partnership was with the well-known retailer Target. Taylor provided an exclusive preview of the song Style to be featured in a clever animated commercial for the brand. The commercial showcased Polaroid images of the singer having fun around New York City. Beyond promoting her album to an audience beyond her devoted followers, this campaign helped boost pre-sales of the exclusive Target edition of 1989. These are just a couple of examples of the singer's collaborations with other brands to promote her music. Later, throughout her career, she would also strike deals with major companies such as Capital One, AT&T, Stella McCartney, Elizabeth Arden Perfumes, American Express, Keds, Sony Electronics, CoverGirl, Walmart, and Apple. While the precise details of these agreements have never been disclosed, they are estimated to collectively be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. By this point, Taylor Swift had established herself as a brand, capitalizing on her charisma, image, and connection with fans to secure successful partnerships that promoted her work while reinforcing her status as a pop icon. However, apart from her endorsement deals to promote the album, there was another interesting move to watch. In the first week of its release, Microsoft made a smart move by selling the entire 1989 album for just 99 cents on its new platform, Music Deals. On the other hand, Taylor's label, Big Machine, decided not to release 1989 on streaming services to boost sales. Yet, Spotify disagreed and listed the songs anyway, with a statement suggesting Taylor wasn't considering her followers on the platform. But beyond the company's comment, Taylor Swift disagreed with how Spotify paid royalties to artists sharing their music on the platform. You see, Spotify introduced a 3-month free system to attract more users, impacting artists as they received no royalties during this time. After some words were exchanged, Big Machine removed all of Taylor's music from Spotify. But 3 years later, after selling 10 million copies of 1989, she wanted to thank her fans by making her entire catalog available again on platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. Yes, it was a bold move, but Taylor always showed herself to be one step ahead in the industry. She emphasized that her music involved great effort, and it was necessary to fairly compensate not only her, but also those behind the song production, like writers, producers, and creators. Later on, Spotify improved its royalty model a bit. Funny enough, the 2023 Spotify Wrapped designated Swift as the most listened to artist of the year on the platform, with over 26.1 billion streams. Taylor was now firmly established as one of pop's biggest stars, but she was not done expanding creatively. In 2017, she released a darker, more club-influenced album called Reputation in response to media scrutiny of her love life. Reputation sold 1.2 million copies in its first week, taking the top spots on charts worldwide. Its massively successful supporting tour grossed over $345 million, becoming one of the highest-grossing tours in history. As her music successes mounted, Taylor also proved herself a savvy businesswoman. In 2018, she decided to part ways with Big Machine Records, whom she had been signed with since the beginning of her career. However, a battle soon erupted over ownership of Swift's master recordings. Big Machine sold Swift's catalog to talent manager Scooter Braun in 2019, without her consent. This ignited a public feud that highlighted industry-wide issues of artist ownership and control. She tried to have a dialogue with Braun to settle the dispute, but he sold the catalog to a private investment fund in 2020. So Swift decided to re-record her songs to take back control. By re-recording these albums, Taylor is putting them out again in her own way. This also means she gets to keep all the earnings from the new versions. In fact, Forbes reported that Swift made an incredible $52 million by 2021 with the Taylor's versions of her albums. Ultimately, this move is a big deal in the music world. It tells other artists that it's possible to break away from the control of major record labels over their own music. It's like a push to stand up for creative rights, which inspires musicians for years to come. After that, in 2019, Taylor dropped Lover. It had songs like The Archer and Miss Americana and The Heartbreak Prince, which kicked off the release of her Netflix documentary. Then, in the following year, with the pandemic keeping us all indoors, Taylor released 2 more albums, Folklore and Evermore. These albums brought in a significant $23.8 million in 2020 alone, with Taylor estimated to take home 46% of the royalties from sales and streaming, thanks to owning the masters. You do the math. As of 2022, she wrapped things up, at least for now, with Midnights, which sold 6 million units worldwide in its first 2 months. Following this release, Swift amassed an estimated $230 million in record sales. According to Universal Music Group, Taylor is the only artist with 5 albums that sold over 1 million units during release week. In 2023, Taylor kicked off her biggest project yet, the Eras Tour, her 6th global tour, and the first since 2018. Over the past 5 years, Taylor has released 4 studio albums and 4 re-recordings, creating plenty of material to build excitement for any tour. Now, economically speaking, Swift's concerts are more than just a show. They act as an engine of the economy. The impact of her concerts is so visible that even the U.S. Federal Reserve mentions it in their reports. After Taylor's concerts in Philadelphia, the city's Federal Reserve noted that despite slow tourism recovery, May marked the strongest month for hotel revenues in Philadelphia since the pandemic began, mainly due to the surge in attendees at Taylor Swift's concerts. The same thing happened in Chicago, where after Taylor Swift's visit, they broke the record for hotel occupancy in the city's entire history. Over that whole weekend, they filled 44,000 rooms, bringing in a huge $39 million in earnings for the city's hotels. Because of all this, hosting a Taylor Swift concert went from just being an artistic experience to boosting the entertainment scene and becoming an economic driver that nobody wants to miss out on. The numbers tell the story. According to Pollstar, the pop star pulled in $13 million for each concert on the Eras Tour. Overall, it's estimated that she has made a $5 billion impact on the global economy. That's more than the GDP of 35 countries, which is why they're talking about Swiftonomics today. What's more, a concert film of the tour, Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour Live, grossed over $178 million at the box office in its opening weekend, making it the highest-grossing music documentary ever. Also, Forbes has estimated that her merchandise, sold at an average price of $80, could contribute an estimated $87 million in earnings to her wealth. Today, Forbes estimates Swift's personal net worth at over $1.1 billion, making her one of the richest solo female artists and entertainers in the world. She owns highly lucrative publishing, record, and merchandising rights across her entire discography due to re-recording her masters. With savvy business investments and ownership of her masters, nearly all profits from her artistry flow directly back to her. As for how she amassed this wealth, here is the breakdown. $400 million from her entire music catalog. Ticket sales and merchandise from concerts, $300 million. Spotify and YouTube earnings account for $120 million. Her 5 personal properties account for $110 million, and royalties have brought in $80 million. Breaking records at every turn, Swift collects profits from every angle, touring, merchandise, videos, and more. She connects deeply with her Swifties fans worldwide through friendship bracelets and understands the business from the inside out. But at only 34, Taylor Swift is just getting started and will likely continue dominating pop culture and music industry for many years to come.